today's speaker, Pauline Duncan-Thrasher, honed her speaking skills in years of participation in Toastmasters and as a public speaking at many public events. She is a lifelong adventurer in loving, teaching, learning, and exploring literature. Pauline is an active member of Unity since 2012, Count the Ways. She's been serving on the board, past and present, being a fair chaplain, and Pauline is currently nearing the finish line in education for pastors and leaders to qualify as a community spiritual teacher. Along with Sylvia Vanderbrook, Pauline shares the spiritual leadership of our London Unity. And we welcome today's speaker, Pauline Duncan-Thrasher.
So good to see all of you. And I know that many of you have been watching us online. 18 months ago, we did a little pioneer experiment of going on Zoom. And Sylvia, Larry, and I talked live about it. And I said, oh my, what an experiment. And it worked. We did the best that we could. Right now, we're back in our spiritual center. We call it a spiritual center, but if we called it a church, you might be interested to know that way back in Jesus' time, church meant called out ones. You've been called out today. You're here for a reason. All of you. You chose to come here with parents. You didn't just come to the barbecue, you were really talking service. And we called out things that here with our synergy of faith. With that faith that surrounds us like a warm blanket and that flows through us, we are in a very special, powerful potential for growth. Emotional, physical, spiritual. Do you believe that? Does that resonate in your heart? I hope it does. Today, I brought with me, you remember the great big picture of Jesus smiling? I think it might be in the picture. I brought this today. Rev Lori gave me this. I hope you can see Jesus smiling. You can see George and Barb. Wave to George and Barb.
Hi, George and Barb.
Hey, George and Barb. So that's kind of symbolic that we see George and Barb when I hold up Jesus smiling. Because if we think of Jesus as our way shower, didn't he show by love and caring and generosity? And isn't that Barb and George Graham? They're gone now, but they're watching, hopefully, and listening. When I show this, I hope you think of Jesus. I'll let you in a little secret. When I hold it up, Lorraine, our technician, will also change the PowerPoint for me. Well, that was meant to say order, mind, idea, expression. And you heard that last week when you saw Paul Hasselbeck, Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck. Now he used green in the background. Let me tell you, that shade of green is not my favorite, so it's the only slide that has that shade of green on it. He referred to it as militaristic green. And that might resonate with some people. You might say, I relate with the military. They're orderly, they're precise, they do things based on rules.
Can you turn it louder?
And we need order in our lives, but the order I'll be addressing today is the order in our minds and hearts and spirit that enables us to deal with worry. Would you raise your hand if you felt any worry in the last 18 months? Would you raise 2 hands if you thought a lot of work? And that just makes us human. There's a story told, a true story, of a young woman who was looking at a museum. What she saw was a picture of a fur coat. And you might think, fur coat? What's so riveting about the fur coat? What was riveting about that fur coat was that the woman wearing it was Marianne Anderson. If you're familiar with singers, Marianne Anderson was known from the time she was a tiny girl as a baby contralto. She was considered one of the best singers ever. She had to overcome a lot of prejudice in the black, because she was black from the white community. But her singing crossed over many, many genres. She became incredibly famous in Europe, North America, all over. But this is not about Marianne Anderson. This is about the young woman who had admired Marianne Anderson from afar. A hero, and you thought, oh, if only I could be like that person. This young woman would look at Marianne Anderson and say, oh, if only I could sing like that. If only. If only. And then this thought would come into her head. But I'm only a baby nurse and a washerwoman. But something else came into her heart. And that was the presence of divine spirit. And she persisted. She kept going. She kept practicing. And then the day came when she stood at the doors of Carnegie Hall, ready for her singing debut. And her heart was beating faster. And she was thinking, I'm only a baby nurse and a washerwoman. What if they don't like me? There were thousands of people in the audience, all watching.
Grandma will turn it up.
Then she opened her mouth. And the voice came through. The emotions flowed. She was expressive. Using her hands, using her body, using her emotions, most of all, letting her divine faith, her loving faith in a divine spirit flow through. That woman became known as the Queen of Gospel, Elliot Jackson. She could have walked away from Carnegie Hall. She could have stepped off that platform and said, ooh, no, can't do it. Too weak, too small, too insignificant. I'm only a nurse baby, a baby nurse, and a washerwoman. But she didn't. She had many, many offers throughout her life to sing other than gospel. Because as her magnificent voice rose, people wanted her. But she decided to stay with gospel. In her words, gospel music gives you hope afterwards. Other kinds of music are just other kinds of music. And you'll see some pictures of Elliot Jackson on the slide. I hope. If you don't, I'll just have to describe them. There you go. And the message in the beginning is a message from Eckhart Tolle. I'm not sure how it stayed in the center of Elliot Jackson, but perhaps she needed to think of this as we need to think of it. Yes. And the message is, forgive yourself for not being at peace. Have you ever in the last many months thought, I'm supposed to be a spiritual person, why am I worrying? Why am I so anxious? Why am I upset? Eckhart Tolle says, forgive yourself for not being at peace. Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall find peace." That's not just calming an argument. It's finding an inner peace within you. The moment you completely accept your non-peace, you accept it. You say, "I'm so rattled right now." And let me tell you, this morning before the service, I felt a little rattled. I thought, not my favorite microphone. I can't use my hands when I want. And then the sound was going, vroom, vroom, vroom. But we move beyond it, or we address it. We say, "All right, get yourself together there. Calm down. This is just sound." The moment you accept your non-peace is transmuted into peace. That might sound contradictory, but it's about being aware. Do you get that? Have you ever felt exasperated, angry, unforgiving, desperate, or all of that all at the same time? And you caught yourself and said, "Hey, there's a divine presence in here." I shared this story with you of Elliot Jackson, and you might be standing there saying, "I'm not Elliot Jackson. I don't even want to be a singer." All right. Maybe you are content being you. Just you. It's my favorite hat. And my favorite hat says, "I am human." I don't have to put on an act for anybody. The person that matters is the person inside. Elliot Jackson's funeral was attended by thousands and thousands of people. And they remembered how excited she became, how energized, but they also remembered her spiritual connection. Her funeral had a reminder of what was written on her tombstone, and this is what it was. Apart from Christ, there is no explanation for such a life. It can be said of you too. When you're having a great success, and that feels super, feels sweet, remember why you got there. You got there because of the divine presence within you. God is our great abundance. He's our prosperity. If we follow our divine presence, we're on the right track. How do we rise above conditions in our life? How do we rise above lack, worry, fear, disappointment, jealousy, anger, all that awful stuff? We go to God. That's simple. It's not complicated. It's not intellectual. It's not deep. It's not heavy. It is straightforward and simple. When we're in trouble, when we are worried, there's one place to go, God. Or divine presence, or inner source, whatever you want to call God. You go within, and I'll share a little bit in a few minutes about presence and something that Zen Buddhists call satori. Proverbs 3:25, verse 26 talks about true security. Do not be afraid of sudden panic or of the storm, for the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. Where is your foot caught? It's caught in the problem. that in the problem. We get so immersed in the problem that we have to do a yank out and move back and an inner prayer. We can learn how to get out of the trap. And some questions. Some questions for you. You just see a pale blue screen and you think there's a mistake. No. Because the questions we ask ourselves can be questions that we ask when we are troubled and we decide to go deliberately, by choice, to a place of peace. And in that peace, we might ask ourselves questions like this. What is the source of my strength? Where does my love come from? Where does my love flow? When I love, what difference does it make? When I am weak, how can I feel stronger? When I am unsettled, how can I settle? I went to Eckhart Tolle, but before I went to Eckhart Tolle, I went to Unity's 5 basic principles. Because I remembered I am talking to a unity group. And our 5 basic principles remind us, give us everything we need to know in times of trouble. You don't have to go backwards. You don't have to have a PhD or an MA or a Bachelor of Arts to use these principles. They're basic, they're simple, and as I said at the very end of my presentation, like unity, they are positive, they are practical, and they are progressive. First, there is a higher presence in everything. Second, well, before we go to that, the higher presence active in everything can be called God, divine presence, divine source, source energy. This higher presence is located within us. Will you just put your hand on your heart? It doesn't mean it's necessarily in your heart. It could be in your foot, your leg, your arm. But we think of our heart as connecting with our love source. Divine presence is within me. I invite you to say that. Divine presence is within me. When? Just when you're in trouble? Just when you say, oh, help, help. No, all the time. This higher presence and everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. Prayer and meditation get us in touch with our divine nature. And those of us who've been blessed enough to pray every day, we started out 6 days a week, and 3 of those people are here. I'd like you just to put your hands up and I call your name out. Don Briglio, way up high, Don. Lois Colbert, way up high, and Nancy Dunson, way up high. These 3, and Sophia Vanderhood. These people have been so faithful about praying with us. And Wilda, I hope Wilda is listening online. And Wilda has a favorite expression when she prays with people. She says, right here, right now. And that might resonate with you. She doesn't say it exactly like that. She has her own Wilda way of saying it. We affirm that divine presence is with you, right here, right now. It's not enough to know the truth, you have to live the truth. And now to Lao Tzu. It really epitomized our anxious feelings. This is Jesus laughing at us and saying, you'll get over this. If you're depressed, you're living in the past, and you might say, well, I don't agree with that. Okay, be aware of that. You might say, my depression is right now, right here. And that's possible. This was one person's thought. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the present. And the present, the now, is what Eckhart Tolle wrote about in his book, The Power of Now. And in terms of time, I can't continue because, I can't go into depth with Eckhart Tolle. But this is what he says. Make it conscious. Make your thinking conscious. So often we think unconsciously. We're not aware. We don't take time to be aware of who we are and what we have. When the ego weeps for what it has lost, think of all the times your ego has caused you to feel despair. The spirit rejoices for what it has found. When the ego weeps for what it has lost, the spirit rejoices for what it has found. Understanding divine presence is being present. It's attention to the inner energy field in our body. All of our attention in the now leaves no time for remembering awful stuff from the past or worrying about terrible things that might happen in the future. We awaken to a higher level of consciousness. Where is your attention right now? You don't have to tell me. It could be the barbecue. It could be I can't wait to go outside and eat those yummy burgers. It could be what will you be doing after? Or it could be right now. Is this so glorious to be surrounded by other people, other unity members, people I love and care about? As we go deeper into our consciousness, we're able to let go of the baggage of our problems and our torments. We can also observe when we're being conscious. When does unease and discontent rise in your head? What upsets you? What irritates you? What angers you? What disconcerts you? What can you do to come back to deeper consciousness and total awareness of divine presence within? What can you do? The state of presence is something we continually work at. And the state of presence is talked about a lot by Tony Bain in the book Conscious Living. Charles Fillmore was once quoted as saying, "The prelude to Christ consciousness is self-honesty." The prelude to Christ consciousness is self-honesty. It can be very tough to do sometimes. And we'll move on. Don't look for any other state than the one you're in right now. Otherwise, you will end up in inner conflict and unconscious resistance. Forgive yourself for not being at peace. The moment you completely accept your non-peace becomes transmuted into peace. Anything you accept fully will get you there. Will take you into peace. This is the miracle of surrender. And the summary for this first presentation back at Unity of London is just a reminder that unity is a positive, practical, progressive approach. Positive, practical, progressive. People spend thousands and thousands of dollars to go to psychotherapy. We've got it right here. It's based on the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. Let us now go into meditation. I invite you to relax. Relax your body. Open your mind. You can stretch if you want. We do a lot of stretching when we do our daily prayer online. As you open your mind to the positive, practical, progressive messages of unity. Accept your humanity. Accept your Tweety bird hats or your running shoes that get you where you want to go, that are practical. Most of all, accept your spirituality and those brief but wondrous moments when you feel absolutely, totally connected with divine presence. In the next few moments, I invite you just to be, to experience being, to experience the now, to experience the wondrously uplifting, inspiring knowledge that you are connected with divine presence every moment of every day and every night. That you have a source that is with you wherever you go. Whatever you do, whatever you think, you have it. What better antidote to worry? I'll let you know when our time is fulfilled. rejoice in the power of unity as a positive, practical, progressive affirmation of our Christian faith based on Jesus' teachings and prayer. And so it is, and so we let it be. Did I hear an amen? Amen. Yay, so it is. Yay, yay.
Fun of all this. Thank you so much, Pauline, for a very thought-provoking and motivating, I think, talk about order and interbeing. And then let's enjoy another song. Great job.
Maximum.
To think about the abundance that we have in our lives and the abundance that we share. And I don't know if the people are going to come around with the to do an offering. And remember, you can now email transfer or e-transfer to unityoflondon@hotmail.com. So we appreciate all that everyone gives us. And I think next we'll just carry on we're doing gifts and giving, and we'll say our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yay, Yay God. Only unity of London. And we can stand and sing our peace song. Oh, well, bless the offering. Yep. Okay. We're so grateful for the gifts that come in every day of the year here at Unity of London. And as people give, it's them showing that they know that giving of their abundance only makes it grow. And we give always with a glad heart, and we receive with a glad heart as well. And so it is. You are here. Thank you. Oh. Let her rock. So as you go about your week, remember Pauline's message about the power of now and being in the presence and knowing that divine presence is within you always. And let's have a great barbecue. I don't know how we made out on the online thing, but in person we did great.